Hello and welcome to SA Rich and Famous News. Today I will be reading for you the first of its kind report on migration from the South Africa Statistics Agency. Executive Summary. Introduction. The Migration Profile Report for South Africa offers a comprehensive view of migration within a country experiencing mixed migration flows, hampered by fragmented data management systems. Aligned with the Global Compact for Migration and the Sustainable Development Goals, the report prioritizes migrants' rights and underscores the critical need for precise, disaggregated data to inform policy decisions effectively. The migration profile was prepared by members of the Interministerial Technical Working Group, in close collaboration with a broad range of stakeholders and with technical support from the International Organization for Migration (IOM). This migration profile, a first for South Africa, is designed to enhance policy coherence, evidence-based policymaking, and the mainstreaming of migration into South Africa's development plans. Its development was guided and supported with inputs by the Technical Working Group of Government Ministries and Institutions. The report provides an overview of migrant characteristics, trends and impacts of migration in South Africa up to the end of 2022/23. The data used in the analysis were collected from various sources, ranging from South Africa's national population and housing censuses and national surveys to administrative records, academic research and relevant national and international sources. As a result, this landmark profile delivers one of the most comprehensive overviews of migration trends and their impacts on South Africa to date. The migration profile is comprised of three parts. Part A, Migration Trends and Characteristics, provides data and analysis of migration trends in South Africa. Part B, Impacts of Migration, describes the impact of migration on key socioeconomic and development indicators based on several literature reviews. Part C, Recommendations, presents key steps and initiatives for consideration by policymakers. And Part A, Migration Trends and Migrant Characteristics. General cross-border mobility. Between 2011 and 2015, there were fluctuations in the issuance of both permanent residence and temporary residence permits, notably peaking for temporary residence permits in 2012 and gradually declining thereafter. The turnover mobility trends from 2010 to 2022 showed a consistent increase until 2016, reaching a peak of 307,894,422. However, this sharply declined in 2020-2021 due to COVID-19 pandemic-related restrictions, with a slight rebound observed in 2022. Transit migration experienced substantial growth from 2016 to 2019, reaching a peak of 821,440, but faced significant drops in 2020 and 2021 due to the pandemic, followed by notable recovery in 2023. Short-term visits displayed consistent growth until 2019, reaching a peak of 10,228,593, but witnessed substantial declines in 2020 and 2021, with a partial recovery in 2023, hinting at a possible resurgence in short-term visits. Immigrant stocks. The data on immigration in South Africa encapsulate several noteworthy trends: a shifting landscape of median ages, a steadily growing migrant population, and a notable trend toward young adults as primary movers. Dominated by the Black African population group, the migration landscape revolves around Gauteng as a central hub, while Zimbabwe emerges as a significant source country. Most migrants originate from the Southern African Development Community (SADC) region. Employment among immigrant individuals based on Q3 of the Quarterly Labour Force Survey (QLFS) has steadily increased from 6.0% in 2012 to 8.9% in 2022. Industry preferences, especially in the wholesale and retail trade, exhibit variations in migrant employment. Zimbabwe consistently leads in sending students to South Africa for higher education and training. On the other hand, Ethiopia, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Somalia are leading countries in sending refugees to South Africa. The distribution of immigrant learner in basic education has been presented across the years from 2018 to 2023. In 2018, there were a total of 26,992 learners. Over subsequent years, the number of immigrant learners increased steadily for both sexes. Finally, in 2023, the number of immigrant learners further increased to 37,856 males and 38,949 females, with a total of 76,805 learners. Housing trends demonstrate a move toward formal housing, a surge in property ownership among immigrants, and enhanced utility access. Yet, despite strides in housing and utilities, waste management remains a challenge, reflecting persisting issues despite advancements. Emigration across various years, the number of South African citizens residing abroad showed fluctuations in sex ratios, with consistent growth overall. The United Kingdom, UK, Australia, and the United States of America, USA, were favoured destinations for South African citizens residing abroad, demonstrating significant increases in their populations. Emigration for study purposes witnessed a steady rise in the number of South African students studying abroad. However, involuntary emigration, particularly the refugee population, exhibited significant changes over time, with fluctuating numbers indicating the sensitivity of such migration. The destinations for South African asylum seekers shifted across countries from 2021 to 2022, reflecting changes in asylum-seeking patterns. Irregular migration. South Africa lacks comprehensive data on irregular migration due to the unavailability of administrative records which would allow for indirect estimation of this invisible group. On the other hand, the population census has a limitation as it does not ask respondents about their legal status in the country during census enumeration due to the fact that NSOs are not mandated to monitor the legal status of immigrants. Administrative sources from the Department of Home Affairs related to permits may give some insight in terms to number of permits given over a specified period. Safety and security in the prison system, immigrants made up 7% to 6% of inmates from 2017 to 2021, averaging 3% over 5 years. Deportation events fluctuated widely over time between 2002 and 2022. A high number of deportations were observed in 2,007,312,284. Reported cases of immigrants accused of crimes varied across provinces, with Gauteng consistently reporting higher numbers due to most people residing there. Cases involving nationals from Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Lesotho, Malawi, and Nigeria showed fluctuations over the years. Return migration. The voluntary return of South African citizens between 2011 and 2022 saw fluctuations by age and sex distribution. In 2011, 4,866 citizens returned, with 46.2% being male and 53.8% female. However, by 2022 the return numbers dropped to 27,983, showcasing an equal split of 50.0% male and female returnees. Age-wise distribution revealed a varied landscape across different population groups in 2011, showcasing diverse representation across age brackets. This trend underwent noticeable changes by 2022, indicating shifts in demographic patterns. In 2011, white South Africans comprised 56.6% of returnees, contrasting with black Africans at 32%. By 2022 this had evolved, with whites accounting for 52.9% and black Africans for 37.1% of the returnee demographic. Sex and age dynamics further revealed that in both 2011 and 2022, a higher percentage of male returnees existed across age brackets. Provincial distribution displayed a similar trend, with Gauteng and the Western Cape being prominent in 2011. By 2022, shifts in returnee percentages across provinces hinted at changing preferences or circumstances influencing voluntary return decisions. Internal migration. The analysis on the period in migration between the 2011 and 2022 census reveals intriguing trends. Gauteng and the Western Cape are the two main provinces that attracted a high number of immigrants between the two censuses. The Northern Cape is the province with the lowest share of period migrants, 6%. Eastern Cape, on the other hand, experienced an increase of 5.3% from census 2011 and 10.3% in census 2022. Period out-migration indicates that Gauteng, Eastern Cape, Limpopo and KwaZulu-Natal experience a high share of out-migration. Caution needs to be taken when interpreting the data on period migration from census 2022 to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, which resulted in less movement of people. Lastly, the results on the main reasons for moving from the previous place of residence in 2022 indicate that the main reason for migrating is to look for paid work, followed by moving to be closer to spouses. Part B. Impacts of migration. Migration intertwines with human development, shaping opportunities through knowledge exchange and remittances while posing challenges like brain drain and irregular migration. Economically, migration fuels growth, driving occupational expansion and entrepreneurship, yet management incurs costs. It is associated with employment, skills development, and competition for scarce resources, which necessitates a balanced approach. Migration's role in social development influences urbanization and societal identity, requiring inclusive policies to foster cohesion. Health-wise, migration impacts the demand and delivery of healthcare in several ways. Migrant workers play an important role in the healthcare industry, while South Africa sees steady emigration of healthcare professionals, demanding a comprehensive policy response. Environmentally, migration contributes positively through knowledge transfer, but strains ecosystems, especially amid climate change. Overall, addressing the complexities of migration in South Africa demands nuanced strategies that harness benefits while mitigating challenges for comprehensive and inclusive development. Part C: Key recommendations on data collection. Recommendations on improving migration statistics. Regular population surveys. Conduct regular population surveys that specifically focus on migration patterns, reasons for migration, and socio-economic characteristics of migrants. These surveys should encompass both documented and undocumented migrants. Capacity building. Invest in training and capacity building for officials involved in data collection and analysis. This ensures a better understanding of migration dynamics and improves the quality of data collected. Utilize administrative data. Integrate data from various administrative sources, such as border control agencies, health services, and education departments, to create a more comprehensive picture of migration patterns. Use of big data and artificial intelligence (AI). Consideration of big data and AI should certainly be brought on board to gain an understanding of migration from a different perspective. Research and partnerships are required in this regard. Conclusions. Part C: Key findings and recommendations on data collection. C.1 Key findings. Migration dynamics. The report delves into the intricate trends characterizing South Africa's migration landscape, showcasing a dynamic ebb and flow in various categories. Temporary residence permits and transit migration experienced fluctuations over the past decade, notably peaking in 2012 and 2015, respectively. However, pandemic-related restrictions resulted in substantial declines in these figures, with a partial rebound observed in 2022. Short-term visits, crucial for understanding tourist or business-related movements, demonstrated consistent growth until 2019, before facing significant declines in 2020 and 2020-21. This nuanced data indicate the susceptibility of migration to external factors, reflecting the impact of global events on migratory patterns. Immigration trends within the immigrant community. The report emphasizes demographic shifts, notably the dominance of the Black African population group and the emergence of Zimbabwe as a leading source country. These migrants often gravitate towards Gauteng, a prominent hub for immigrant settlements. Moreover, there is a noticeable rise in migrant-born individuals entering the workforce, indicating the evolving role of migrants in contributing to South Africa's labor market. This phenomenon underscores the changing dynamics within employment sectors, potentially influencing economic growth and workforce diversity. Employment dynamics. The intricate analysis of employment patterns among migrants reveals intriguing insights into their occupational preferences and distribution across different provinces. The report highlights the significance of provinces like Gauteng and the Western Cape in attracting a substantial number of employed migrants. However, it is essential to note the variations in unemployment rates across regions, indicating the diverse challenges faced by migrants seeking employment opportunities. Education and refugees. The examination of migration data reveals substantial trends in education-related migration, with Zimbabwe consistently sending students to South Africa for academic pursuits. Meanwhile, refugee numbers exhibit volatility over time, demonstrating the varying origins and sex ratios among asylum seekers and refugees. These trends underscore the diverse reasons prompting migration and the nuanced challenges faced by different migrant groups. Housing and utilities. A pivotal aspect of the report focuses on housing and utility trends among immigrant households. Both South African-born and immigrant families increasingly opt for formal housing arrangements, with a significant shift towards rental occupancy and property ownership. These choices mirror advancements in housing access and the gradual transition away from traditional or informal dwellings. Improvements in utilities like piped water access and electricity usage highlight progress, but also reveal persisting challenges in waste management. Emigration and return migration. The report analyses the dynamics of South African citizens residing abroad and those returning. It notes consistent growth in emigration among South African citizens, especially towards destinations like the United Kingdom, Australia, and the USA. Conversely, return migration exhibits fluctuations in sex distribution, demographic patterns, and provincial preferences. These patterns provide nuanced insights into the factors influencing migration decisions and potential changes in returnee preferences over time. Irregular migration, a challenging aspect to quantify due to data limitations. Irregular migration receives attention through insights from administrative sources. Safety and security. The report highlights the presence of immigrant inmates in the prison system and the varying rates of deportations over the years. Additionally, it notes fluctuations in reported crime cases involving nationals from neighboring countries, shedding light on the intricate relationship between irregular migration and law enforcement. Impacts. Migration's impact on diverse facets like human development, economics, social identity, health, and the environment is emphasized. The need for nuanced strategies. Given the intricate nature of migration in South Africa, the report underscores the necessity for nuanced, inclusive strategies in managing migration dynamics. These strategies must strike a balance between harnessing the benefits of migration, such as economic growth and cultural diversity, while effectively addressing the challenges posed by irregular migration, social integration, and resource distribution. Achieving comprehensive and inclusive development demands an approach that acknowledges the multifaceted nature of migration and its impact on various societal domains. C.2 Recommendations on improving migration statistics and the overall evidence base. Regular population surveys. Conduct regular population surveys that specifically focus on migration patterns, reasons for migration, and socio-economic characteristics of migrants. These surveys should encompass both documented and undocumented migrants. Cross-agency collaboration. Foster collaboration among government agencies, international organizations, academic institutions, and NGOs to share data and resources. This collaboration can provide a more holistic view of migration patterns and challenges. Capacity building. Invest in training and capacity building for officials involved in data collection and analysis. This ensures a better understanding of migration dynamics and improves the quality of data collected. Utilize administrative data. Integrate data from various administrative sources, such as border control agencies, health services, and education departments, to create a more comprehensive picture of migration patterns. Public awareness campaigns. Conduct public awareness campaigns to encourage migrants, both documented and undocumented, to participate in data collection efforts. Building trust within migrant communities is crucial for obtaining accurate data. Invest in research. Allocate resources to support research on migration trends, impacts on the economy, social dynamics, and policy effectiveness. This research can inform evidence-based policymaking. Evidence-based decision-making. Ensure that migration statistics and evidence are integrated into policy formulation across various sectors such as health, education, labor, and social welfare. Regular assessment and review. Continuously assess the effectiveness of data collection methods and policies regarding migration statistics. Regular reviews help in identifying gaps and improving strategies over time. International collaboration. Engage in international collaborations and partnerships with neighboring countries and international organizations to understand regional migration patterns and align efforts for more accurate data. Transparency and accountability. Maintain transparency in data collection methodologies and reporting. Establish mechanisms for accountability to ensure the accuracy and reliability of migration statistics. Disaggregation of data. Disaggregation is a key consideration, and data producers are encouraged to disaggregate data by at least age and sex on all indicators being produced to identify the most vulnerable groups in key age groups and amongst women. It is hoped that by the time a new migration profile report is conducted, possibly in 2027, we may have more data producers on board, with higher levels of disaggregation and better quality in terms of its collection and coverage. Government departments' coordination and cooperation. The compilation of South Africa's first migration profile report is but the first stop on a longer journey. The need to ensure that migration measurement is an all-of-government phenomenon is relevant now more than ever. The collation of migration data across various government sectors needs to be done as a priority in a manner that enhances its quality, covers more content areas, and makes such data available to be shared with the National Statistics Office. In this regard, coordination and cooperation amongst actors is important. participation in the National Migration and Urbanization Forum and in bilateral with Statistics South Africa are important in order to achieve these objectives. Further to achieve these objectives is also the need to invest significantly in the development of such data production systems. Administrative data, particularly in the field of migration, are critical given the various challenges in capturing data from migrants through other means. The forum will also be the vehicle through which global and regional coordination and consultation around indicators and data frameworks will take place. Use of big data and artificial intelligence (AI). Consideration of big data and AI should certainly be brought on board to gain an understanding of migration from a different perspective. Research and partnerships are required in this regard. C.3 Recommendations from the Roundtable Discussion on Strengthening the Data Mechanism for Evidence-Based Migration Governance and Management in the SADC Region. It is imperative to underscore that the Southern African Development Community (SADC) member states urgently require timely, dependable, accessible, and comparable data concerning international migration. This need arises from the quest to effectively manage migration and safeguard the rights of migrants. However, a dearth of migration data, or the underutilization thereof, often gives rise to misconceptions regarding the scale of migration and its implications in the SADC region. Moreover, less availability of robust data can result in ill-conceived policies and interventions, significantly hindering the identification and assistance of migrants facing vulnerability. Although the issue of inadequate migration data in the region has been acknowledged for several years, with some level of progress made through the SADC Harmonization Roadmap, development of guidelines as well as harmonized indicators for census, household and administrative data collection, consensus among member states on how to address data deficiencies and enhance data availability remains elusive. The Roundtable Discussion on Strengthening Data Mechanisms for Evidence-Based Migration Governance and Management in the SADC Region demonstrates IAM's commitment to fostering dialogue and collaboration among key stakeholders to enhance migration governance and management. Key recommendations from the Roundtable discussion include: integration of migration modules. Member states are advised to incorporate essential migration modules and indicators into household surveys and censuses, enabling data disaggregation relevant to migration. Collaboration with partners for technical assistance and capacity development on methodology, sampling and survey weighting is encouraged. Harnessing administrative data. Acknowledging the integration of migration modules and indicators into administrative data sources in certain member states and further exploration of administrative sources for capturing migration-relevant indicators are recommended. Data collection in high-mobility corridors. Enhanced data collection in high-mobility corridors, such as the Southern Route, to manage harmonized cross-border data on mixed migration flows and vulnerable migrant populations including women. This should include the sharing and utilization of alternative data sources, such as flow monitoring data, with relevant member states. Alignment with international and regional frameworks. Encouragement for member states to actively align with and contribute to international and regional frameworks, protocols, and recommendations related to migration data. This alignment will foster more harmonized migration data concepts, definitions, methodologies, and data management, analysis and dissemination mechanisms. Establishment of national coordination mechanisms. Member states are urged to establish or strengthen national steering committees or technical working groups on migration to bolster migration management and enhance national statistical systems. SADC can provide support in conceptualization and operationalization in line with the SADC harmonization process. Appointment of focal points. The nomination of dedicated focal points is recommended to ensure continuity of initiatives within member states. These focal points will participate in multidisciplinary activities on migration and disseminate information within coordination mechanisms. Regional Technical Working Group. Encouragement for member states to consider operationalizing the Regional Technical Working Group on migration data, fostering coordination and information sharing among member states, SADC, and partners. Enhancing data comparability. Member states are encouraged to improve the availability of migration data from various sources, making them more comparable, reliable, and consistent. This will facilitate evidence-based decision-making and policy formulation with technical guidance and support from partners. Thank you for attention. Please like, comment and subscribe to the SA Rich and Famous YouTube channel.